Today, as you guys know me, I'm a female sexuality coach, bringing your power back, whatever power means to you in your sexuality. So I've got the lovely honor of Indira, I hope I'm saying that right, that is also going to introduce herself, and we're going to be speaking about emotions. So stay tuned. I'm sure you have emotions, so this is exactly for you. So carry on.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you also for inviting me to your podcast. Well, my name is Indira Cortez, and I am a Self Love Vita Coach. And we're going to talk today about those emotions and how to handle them. I hope this conversation is very helpful for all of you, and let's start.
Yes, as mentioned, if we all have emotions, as human beings, we have emotions. So you will benefit from the conversation, even if it's just taking a little bit and implementing it into your life. I would say you would benefit from it. So would you like to start the first topic on how we avoid certain emotions?
Yeah, as you said, we all experience those emotions, and we all are humans, and we all have inside that feelings. So how to handle them? Well, I think when we are experiencing heavy emotions, they are part of something that is happening inside of us. And sometimes we tend to avoid them, not to watch them, let them behind. But the thing here is go to them and dive into them. It is very important for all of us because as humans, it is normal to have these emotions. So, what to do? I think we need to be brave, and we need to feel that bravery to go and dive and to find tools to connect us with that part of us. I know for some people this can be really scary, but it is really important. I think this is the main topic here, is going to those emotions, is consciously going there and do that job.
So what I'm just want to add on to you, as we are taught in a society to repress our emotions, from my own experience is if I was sad and stuff, my mom would usually say to me, get over it, get on with it. And those emotions to me it was unsafe to show to people I am sad. And even if I go to a public place, if I show sadness, immediately the reply to people in the immediate environment is, oh, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
So there's a connotation to a lot of emotions, and even the opposite to men. Men can't show sadness as well. Say that's not a boy enough. So tough up, you can't cry, come on. And these emotions are so necessary. Like you say, you have to have like a form of bravery, because we've been taught so long not to show these emotions. Now we like, you're in your 50s and like, yes, show your emotions. And now it's all of a sudden so mixed signal for your brain, because now all of a sudden it's show your emotions, and all of a sudden everything in you says, hell no, why would I do that? So what would be a core tool? And maybe you can say, why is it that we need to show our emotions?
Totally, I agree 100%. In my case, I think my heaviest emotion, it was fear. because I always had this feeling of fear of showing myself or saying something. I always were a fearful person. And that emotion is really heavy in your body, you know, when you want to do something, but you can't. It is like, what is happening here? And you tend to avoid that and to hide, because I don't want to feel this. I don't want to show myself because I am feeling this and I don't know how to handle. I don't know what to do with this. And in my case, it was that, you know, to feel something heavy in my body, but not knowing what to do with that. So this is why it's important to go and dive into those heavy emotions, especially those ones like fear or hate or I don't know, something that is really heavy in your body and you're experiencing. It is important because it's not allowing you to grow and develop all your being in a good way, in a beautiful way. They are there and they exist for some reason. And you don't need to hide yourself from that, you know?
So if you can get an example of your fear, what has fear taught you?
I can an example of my fear would be like feeling like this like this chill around me, you know, trying to contract my body. And for example, if I wanted to say something that is important in front of people, and I used to do that, I used to freeze myself, like I can't talk or something like that, you know. I felt that chill covering me. It was like that. Right now it's really different. I can talk normally without that feeling that heavy emotion. We are having this conversation and nothing is happening because I could dive into that. I could break that shell.
So you had a bodily sensation of the fear itself. You had a body.
Can you repeat that, Lynn?
Yes, you had a body experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is a feeling of your heartbeat is racing, your throat is like closed. You know, the body is experiencing heavy things, and to handle that, oh, it's, I don't know.
So
I couldn't.
How did you handle this? How did you come to this conversation? Tell us your tell us your tool.
I could connect with the root of that fear, because when you were a child and you wanted to express yourself for something, and it was a really bad situation, trying to say something because you couldn't shut up and say that, you know, different things. But a child takes that like, this is the end of the world. I should shut up forever. And you develop mechanism to not dive into it, to not express yourself in a healthy way.
Yeah, a pattern.
So
develop the pattern in your brain.
A pattern
that is not allowed. Yes.
Yeah, and that's how your body. At that time, my body was showing that way, because with this heartbeat racing or feeling my throat closed, it was heavy and I didn't know what to do. But
what did you
but
do?
I could. But I did it. Yeah. And what I did it was to consciously go in meditation. Meditation for me was everything. So when I could connect with myself in meditation in a really deep way, I could access to my true self. You know, I could access to the root, and to know why this is happening in a meditation state. it is really important. This is happening because I was a child, and at that time that happening to me, or when I was a teenager that happening to me, and I connected that to protection, to not do it. This is a danger. So when you have that knowledge of yourself, you can act from that.
So it seems
So
you were more like you were observing what was happening in a meditative state.
exactly.
Regards, for you to face the fear, you had to detach from the fear. Am I hearing that?
Yeah, totally. And also to have a conversation with this fear. It was really important to talk with that shell.
And people listening, how do you have a conversation with your fear? That sounds
this is
normal
really
to us.
interesting.
But people listening, yes.
Yeah. It is really interesting because we tend to think our inner wisdom is something that is not accurate. I don't know why, but we tend to think that it is from my imagination. It is okay, but to imagine it or to talk with that fear in front of you, and you consciously are watching this feeling with your eyes closed, and you are there in that present with that fear. It's not your imagination, it is your reality, but in front of mind state. And when I can connect that way to have a conversation and ask what is happening, why you are here, what you need from me, what I have to do, how I can overcome you, and I could access to a really different perspective. So when I could connect with my fear in that way, in not avoiding this, just watching eye to eye my fear. Okay, in my mind, really in meditation, but it was my inner wisdom talking to me. And that was really transformative and really powerful for me to create a new reality and a new connection with my own body and nervous system.
So am I hearing from your experience that you had to start a relationship with fear, had a conversation with it,
yeah,
build a connection with it, and start from there, embracing the fear, not avoiding it?
Yeah.
And then to me, and everything you say, it's the presence that made that thing. Sorry, my cars are coming past here, but the presence itself also made the healing, because you say you were there for the fear itself to hear what it is. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yeah, correctly. To be present for the fear sometimes is not that easy, because your body experiences a lot of resistance to do this. Are you okay? Are you sure? And sometimes you tend to fear to go there. Like that, and the body is like, no, don't do this, and please don't do this. But you have to even overcome that voice and just go in there, because that's how you will bloom, because this is something that is trapping you. But when you go and you do it, is the most important action you can do for yourself and for your body and for your energy. It is really transformative.
So I saw the topic went to fear now. So fear is an emotion we all face. So what your take out of what you just shared with us? How do you start a connection with fear? what would homework be for people?
I think is to have the consciousness to see this like this is something I can overcome and I can talk with first. The second is
Can I push it
to
before you go to
try.
the second one?
Yeah, yeah.
You said consciousness. How do you cultivate consciousness?
Mhm.
So if a person is, how do you say, okay, you must have the consciousness, but how do you?
Yeah, because when we are experiencing heavy emotions, we can have this idea of I want to overcome this. I don't want to feel this. And to create a consciousness around this is the desire to not feeling this anymore. You know, your consciousness is going to create the action to not feel this anymore. If you don't want this in your life, you consciously need and you need to go to your mind and say, hey, I don't want this anymore. If you don't want this anymore, you have to go there.
Yes.
You have
So
to.
it's a term of aware of something that's happening within you. Otherwise, you won't
Yeah.
be conscious. It's something you need to want to change. Otherwise, it's you.
Yeah.
Okay. Second step.
Yeah. Because, yeah. When you have this desire to change, that will create consciousness. The first step for your consciousness.
Agree.
The second is to take a time and make yourself a priority. Sometimes we tend to avoid this because I don't know, for some reason we don't put ourselves in a place where we are a priority. But if you want to, but if you really really want to change your reality or you want to transform your heavy emotion, take time for yourself. You have to. First, you can start with 10 minutes. I will make myself a priority these 10 minutes. And you can also set an alarm on your device. And you will consciously go 10 minutes in meditation. This is another thing. Meditations can be difficult for some people, but as I said, if you really want to do this, if you are tired of being fearful or being hateful or anything you're experiencing, you will do it because your desire will be higher than your resistance. So take the time in meditation and start to talk with your fear or with your heavy emotion
So,
and have this conversation. Mm-hmm.
so meditation to somebody who has never meditated. What is meditation to?
Meditation, it is like a state in when you put yourself into stillness and you are just in connection with your being. Uh, that's why breathing in meditation it is important because breathing is a connection with your body and in a real in a state in your energy that is higher. So is this situation when you can connect with all your being, breathing, and also with the awareness of your mind, your heart, your also your soul. It is a higher connection of everything. And this also can be really difficult to dive into, but you have to start from some point for something. You know, just stay there in stillness, trying to calm your mind and focus on only one thing, step by step, and you will create these habits. And when you create the habit of meditation, you will start to love this because you're going to connect with your true treasure inside. And sometimes we don't have that time, and we don't take that time to connect with what am I feeling right now? What is happening to me? Why am I feeling fearful? Why I have this disease? Why my body is hurting me here? Why I'm feeling I don't know, something that is not okay in your body. You can dive into that with meditation very well. So what you have to do is to go for your feeling, and the second is to take the time, and the third is just to talk with your fear, just being in connection with this part of you, and not to think that I am imagining this. No, just take the time and dive into that, connect with that, talk with that, ask questions to your fear. You don't need to be a pro. Just start with something. Just start a conversation. Just start a link, because we tend to avoid the heavy emotions. We tend to not watching them, because at the end of the day, to overcome a fear or a heavy emotion, it is about to embrace that. It is about what is causing this, and embrace and hold this in your heart, and know nothing is happening, and you can transform your perspective. That's everything, and you can do this pretty well with meditation, and it's a really easy tool to go and dive into that.
The core of everything you just shared in regards to the tools, thank you very much, is what I'm hearing in a nutshell is there has to be a level of being wanting to change. And there is a of your own will in connection with something that you want to change. So to the listeners or anyone is, if your emotion is not fearing you, or you're getting drained by your emotions, this is really something you would we would invite you to do, because the change starts with yourself. It's not somebody telling you it wants to be done. You want to see the change. You want to see the seeds of the fruits of So thank you so much for this advice, and I can't wait to spread it to the world. Is there anything else you'd like to add on to that?
The only thing I can add, even if you are not experiencing a heavy emotion right now, to go and dive into meditation and to connect with all your emotions. It is really important. It's like going to beauty parlor or going to a beauty salon. You know, we need to dive into ourselves like a self-love act.
Totally.
Like going to have a new haircut. Would be nice if we have that kind of awareness and that kind of consciousness of not being in a really heavy emotion to go and dive into ourselves. But that's the invitation. If you are having this emotion, if you are not, would be nice if you connect with that part in meditation or any tool you want to use to connect with yourself.
And like anything, I mean, our conversation can just stay a conversation. And if you don't put the knowledge we share into action, it would just stay knowledge. So we do invite you to explore your own, this tools that we share with you, to go and implement it. And to get hold of, I'll share my links, and to get hold of Indira. I hope I said it right. The links will also be shared down below, and do come in contact with us if you need any questions or you would like to interact. And I thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. It was a wonderful conversation. I'm so grateful.